Okay, let's take a quick look at adding appointments. So once you're on the date, you can schedule, you want to be on the date that you want the appointment made. You can click next, right? You can click previous. You can click, right, this little selector for the date. I'm just going to work in the current day. So we're going to add an appointment, and you're going to get a little pop-up like this. You do have to fill out this little bit of information here at the top. So I'm just going to give a patient generic name. We're going to choose a start time. You're going to choose a visit type. Now this default length will come up, and for your project this works just fine because I've set the default lengths to match the ones in your project. However, you can manually adjust these times for these courses. So you do have to make it look like this particular type of visit length. The first number before the colon is the number of hours. There's a colon and the number of minutes. So let's say we only need 15 minutes for James. I want to just manually change this to 15 minutes. That's what it would look like. You can go ahead and manually adjust that as needed. The formula will fill back in for the autocorrect later. You do need to pick a room number. Regardless of whether you've said that you want to double book or allow for double booking of your provider, you cannot double book rooms. For obvious reasons, we can't have two patients in a room, so you do have to have two separate rooms. These are just default rooms, so just pick a room 101 through 106. There is also a list of providers. You do have to pick a provider. If for some reason you try to save an appointment, and you didn't pick one of those 6 bits of information, it will tell you that you need to enter all pieces of information before you can create an appointment. All right, so let's pick a provider. There's just a whole bunch, everything from medical assistance to primary cares and other to choose. The only part that is optional here is this notes section. So the notes you can add, and then if you're in your settings, like we showed in the first video, you can have certain notes pop up and be saved with your appointment. However, this is the only piece of the information that is not necessary. If at any time you'd want to get out, you would just click cancel making your appointment. Do you really want to get out of this appointment? I'm going to say no. If you click yes, it basically clears all of this information out and you're back at the home screen with none of the information you just typed saved. So let's just say you made a mistake. However, I'm going to now save this appointment. And you'll see now that this appointment, okay, is now saved to our scheduler. If for some reason there's ever an error, I have just included this refresh schedule button. If you click it, it just refreshes everything on the screen. It should do it automatically, but I know on occasion this is a tricky one. All right, so now let's go ahead and add a second appointment. All right, so now I'm going to go with Jane. I'm not going to bother with, okay, so now let's do maybe a little bit of a crossover on accident. So 8:30 a.m., I'm going to choose a different visit type. I'm just going to keep this one as a default. I'm going to accidentally double book this room. I'm going to choose a different provider. You're going to see it comes up in red, which should be your note, right, that you try to do it. So you're going to see that this turns red because there is an error here. But as I save the appointment, it's going to tell me 103 is in use. It's a different medical provider, right? If I was trying to do the same medical provider, this also shows up in red. So now not only have I double booked a provider, I have double booked a room. And it will not allow me to do either of these things. You can, however, double book a provider. You would have to go back to that setting, click yes on the double book. This would allow the provider to be double booked, just not the room. Okay, so now we're going to go back to somebody who's free, so we can make it with Jim. We do have to change our room, however, to 102. Okay, and now we're going to save our appointment. And now because we've set those different colors, you can see that this one is a bit of a longer appointment. So it's a half-hour appointment. This one was only 15 minutes. This one is color-coded, right, for her eye injury versus the asthma. So if you wanted to take out the visit type, you could certainly do that as well. So you can double book. You can but only if you do that in the settings. You cannot double book rooms, and there is a setting in here that will prevent you from doing so. Again, you're going to hit refresh schedule. Okay, last but not least, we're going to talk about changing appointments. So let's say, oops, I want to start this at 9. You need to select the appointment. Make sure you see, right, the little outline over the appointment, okay, before you click on this little change appointment button. Okay, so once you do that, this will pop up. And now let's say, oops, I meant to adjust. You can either cancel the appointment, and this will entirely delete it out, or you click no. You can cancel the change entirely and it leaves it exactly as it is. Or once you make a change, you can update the appointment. So let's say I just made a boo-boo. I just want this at 9 a.m. The length was fine. The room was fine. The person was fine. Let's update our appointment. And now you'll see that it has changed time slots. So there's a number of things you can do with the change appointment option as you're going through.